Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and good morning. Welcome to this video. This is my creative test world right here, and I just wanted to bring you here to explain to you the way that my drown circuitry works with my zombie spawner. Alright? Okay, so quickly get into this. The magenta color blocks are control circuits. This is the on-off switch for the spawn trap. Okay, turning it on shuts the light off, and the light in my spawner is I have 4 lights, one on each side, to suppress the actual spawner from spitting out zombies. And that goes into an AND gate, and this AND gate comes back. It's triggered by the piston going off, which sends a pulse to start basically my timer again. Okay, then this magenta is basically, it's just a gong. It's a bell to let me know when the zombies are when the drowns are dropping out of the trap into my kill zone. Okay, that's the magenta. The white, consider the white to be like traces on a printed circuit board. Okay, they're just wires connecting my various modules. Okay, all right. Then my green is what I'm going to refer to as my timer, although I believe from the comments, I'll post a link to the video where I got this, but I believe from the comments on there, it's actually a pulse extender. Okay, that's what most people say. Hey, that's not a timer, it's a pulse extender, and I would have to agree with that. My brown modules are edge detectors. This one is a rising edge detector and pulse conditioner. When this becomes active, which shuts my drowned piston, when this becomes active, this guy says, hey, that became active, generates a pulse which is lengthened here, which then tells my my zombie piston to retract. He retracts, he drops zombies down where they can drown, and then he stops and blocks them all. That makes sure that every zombie who gets in the drown chamber has time to drown. Okay, then when my timer expires, when my pulse extender, when the pulse runs out, this trace goes low, and I have this trace goes low, and the piston retracts and drops the drowns into my kill chamber. Then this is my falling edge detector. The observer sees that the line state changed, and then I have an inverter here which makes that change have to be only on the positive, only on the falling edge, the positive to negative. Okay, which then generates a pulse here. It goes through a pulse lengthener, comes around here to my AND gate, which if it's enabled, it'll send out a pulse to re-trigger my timer, which is basically, yes, a pulse extender. And that's, in a nutshell, that's it. The other parts are, depending on the configuration, you know, these ladders are all on, off, blah, blah. Depending on how the orientation, the exact design of yours, you may or may not need inverters. In my trap, I have an inverter here, but in actual practice, I don't need one. But I do need an inverter on this side. Okay, so anyway, you'll have to tailor those things. Let me get up here and do an overall view of this slowly, so hopefully you can see how this is all built. I tried to color code it, make it simple as possible. I went through several iterations of this. These blue modules are AND gates. Mumbo Jumbo has a great video on Redstone logic. Anyway, let me throw a few in here and I'll demonstrate this, okay? Alright, let's go turn this guy on. We will Oops, he's enabled already. Well, I'll disable him just for the sake of it. Okay, he's enabled. Now it doesn't start it. You have to push this button. This button, which is why I need these conditioners, these pulse extenders here. Because the button just generates a pulse, but it's not a spike. It's a little bit longer of a pulse. So you'll see. And a spike generated by one of these edge detectors is too short to, it usually confuses this circuit rather than starts it. I have, actually I think there's 59 items in here. We'll watch it here and see. 7, 6, okay, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now it starts going the other direction. So it transfers them out of this hopper into this hopper and then back again. Okay, and once this hopper is empty now, then this signal will go low and the zombies will be dropped. Let's see if we can throw a few more in there. Oh, see, it just happened. It just dropped them, and these were dropped again. And I missed the action. All right. I'll bring you back and show you again. Okay. All right. It's counting down now. Now you'll see when this trace goes dark, you'll see a pulse come out of here, which will retract that top piston and let the new zombies fall into the there. All right. It's actually when this trace goes high, the edge is detected. It's a rising edge detector. We'll watch that a couple times. Boom. All right, you see that? I sped my timer up so we could see this. When it goes high, here we'll turn around again and watch it again. When it goes high, that AND gate is activated, generates a brief pulse extended through here. Okay. Oh, and I need to explain these pulse extenders. I have this set to 2, this set to 4, and this set to 3. Okay, now let's look at the falling edge detector. Okay, all right, when this trace goes from high to low, all right, now we'll watch it over here. It goes from high to low. There, we get a pulse out, and this is set the same. This is set 4, 2, and 3. And you can play with those values. Main thing is you don't want it to jitter. You want the pulse here to be steady. Depending on how you get these set, you can get like jitter out here, and that will mess up your other circuits. Now also this repeater is set to 4 ticks here. Okay, and the other one's looks like that one's set to 2. I don't think that's necessary. That may be an accident. Okay. Anyway, regardless, it works. Okay. All right. That's what I wanted to show you. I wanted to just go over those edge detectors a little bit. So hopefully you can see how those work. Now look, if you look at the back of the observer, every time this line state changes, you'll see a pulse come out, whether it's high or low. So since you don't want it on both, you want to detect which edge, then you also have to have a line coming from your trace, which is either not inverted or inverted, depending on which state you want the pulse out. Okay? There you go. All right, hope that helps. Thought I needed to explain that a little better. And give you the settings on these repeaters. Okay. All right. Okay. The old ones are dropped, and then the new ones are dropped. Okay. And then it repeats, and the falling edge of this triggered this circuitry, which started this timer / pulse extender again. All right. So that's basically how my system works. Once you start it, it should run basically forever. Okay, and the way you disable it is, of course, shut that off. The current cycle will go ahead and complete. We'll watch these guys turn into, see, their stuff fell off and they drop. So you want them to turn into drowns just right before the piston retracts. That way you're not wasting any time. You get the unbroken armor. Okay. Let's see. So there's the overview of this circuitry. Alright, so you can see how it's laid out. Alright, thanks. I'll take you to the actual zombie / spawner trap and we'll take a look at it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so here I am at my zombie spawner / drown trap, okay? If you notice, you'll probably see lots of changes. That's okay. That's all part of the evolution, right? Okay, so these are the lights. I was talking about the optional circuitry in my creative world. So these are the lights that are part of that optional circuitry. They pretty much shut this spawner down. They put a light on each side of the spawner to keep it from spitting anything out while I don't want it to. All right. Now that signal goes on around here. It's inverted, and it goes into my AND gate. You may notice the same AND gate. This is on my on-off control circuitry. So right now that AND gate is disabled, okay? Because regardless of this reset circuit, a signal cannot get through there when this line is held low. Okay? Alright, now this is my pulse extender / drowned timer, whatever you want to call it. And I've got 58 bits in here. I think I had 59 in the other one. Regardless, you'll have to play with that a little bit to get it how you want it, okay? Alright. So, same circuitry. I've got edge detectors on the lines to control my pistons. This is for my close timer. This would be my rising edge detector, and then this one would be my falling edge detector. When that goes low, I get a pulse, and then this is inverted here. Okay, so that's my falling edge detector. The pulse extenders, because when this triggers it, you'll notice when you push a button, you have a pulse that's longer than, I don't know how many ticks it is. I'm sure there's people who explain how many ticks that is, but pushing a button is more than just a simple spike, and a simple spike typically confuses this extender here, so it needs a little longer duration. That's why these pulse extenders. Okay, then to get my my push button that starts the timer, to get it over here I had to put some blocks and then send the signal down here, and this would not connect to this unless I hung it out here. If somebody knows another way to do that so I don't have this extra block just sticking here in the wind, let me know, please. Yeah, maybe I could have run it a different direction and made it come in from this angle. I might do that. Okay, anyway, and as I said, see, I have an inverter on. This is the piston that drops the drowns into the kill chamber, and I have an inverter on there. No inverter on this side. This is my this controls my piston that drops the zombies into the drown chamber. Okay, so exactly opposite. And this is my on-off, which controls my lights and the enable. So we'll turn it off. There, immediately you heard the zombie growl because it spawned some zombies. And you'll come over here, and this inverter now is sending an enable signal to my AND gate. Okay, so now when I get a pulse here, I'm going to trigger this this timer, pulse extender, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now my push button here is right here. Now you should see, well, I'll show you that extender will light up, and one of these, I think this light here will enable, should indicate the okay, there, see, it's enabled, and then this one pulsed to drop zombies into the drown chamber. Alright, let's just run up to the top and see if it does have, it's got, there's a bit of a startup time. Okay, yeah, we got one guy in there. Yeah, we got one guy in there in the drown chamber. And we got a few. Now they will collect in this. You see the water is right above their heads, so they won't drown while they're in there. There is a reason for doing it that way. I don't want to lose the armor. Okay, I don't know if you heard that ding or not, but that means the piston opened and dropped the drown down. So we should have, yep, we got a drown, and we have a gold helmet. As if you remember, he had a gold helmet on his head. Alright. Alright, and whap. And then we'll just let this thing cycle around again. This is just my loot. All of this gold came out of this spawner. This iron, no, not all of it. I brought some iron over to build a few things, but all this gold came out of this spawner. Or I'd say there's probably 24 blocks that I mined around here. But other than that, yeah, you get a tremendous there. See, now the guys that come in, they're drowned. And we got a leather helmet that time. You will get, I use looting 3. There, we got us a trident. There's our trident. Lots of zombie meat, as you can see, lots of nautilus shells. A few carrots and potatoes, but who cares? But you get lots of loot. I pack it up here. When I get a full chest, I smelt it. Yeah, that's what this light here is for. It shows me it's on safe to put stuff in. I just do that so I don't waste as much charcoal. Okay. Yep, got another little batch. I'm going to deepen my trap just a little bit, see if I can get a few more out. It's not a high output, but if you have things to do and set a character here, you will get a lot of drowns. Now this green prismarine, whatever, if I'm inside of this ring, then I'm within range of this spawner, so it's active. That's the only reason I put it, so as I'm doing things, I know where to stay. Okay, there you can watch the zombies getting pushed out, and yes, my light level is low enough that it doesn't affect the spawn rate. It should not affect the spawn rate. Okay, now just another note. I was using just regular pistons. Let me show you. And I changed them to sticky pistons, and I want to explain why. And those of you who've been playing a long time probably know. So these pistons, I just had pistons in there with not sticky, but the babies would fall through. You see they're shaking, they're going to drown here in a minute. The babies would fall through. So I changed them to sticky pistons pushing a glass block, and now I don't have babies dropping through. Okay? There. Now you saw that, if you noticed, right before they dropped, they changed into drowns, like a second or a half a second, something like that. So yeah, so far I haven't had a problem getting. And there, you see that drop? I got chain leggings, leather helmet, chain chest plate, and a chain helmet. Okay? So yeah, you get loot here. There's a gold bar. More tridents. So anyway, just whoop, dropping another batch. There, a shovel. You saw that shovel hit. And there we go. And more loot. Yeah, if you want to dig with iron shovels or fight with iron swords, you never have to make another one with this trap. Okay? Anyway, this trap will run until you shut it off. Okay? And when you shut it off, it'll still finish the current cycle. And that's about it. That's what I had to show you. I wanted to explain the circuitry, then show my implementation, and yeah, if you guys want to build this, there we got a helmet, at least a helmet. Yeah, leather helmet. Again, I don't care about most of the leather, but I do want the gold and the iron chain. So, okay. Yeah, if you want to build it, have fun. If you run into problems, let me know. I don't claim to be a redstone expert. I'm great at watching people's videos and then seeing how something is done and putting the pieces together to make my own design. And that's basically what I've done here. I don't believe any of this is a brand new invention, okay? And I don't claim to be that. I don't remember if anybody was using the edge detection like I'm using, but it's not a new world. It's not a new world. There we go. Look at that. We got a full set of armor, gold armor that time. Anyway, it's a very cool little trap in my opinion. I don't have to flip switches anymore, and that's what I got to say. So hopefully you'll find this helpful. You take care of yourselves, have fun, stay safe, and have a great day. And thanks for watching.